Hey guys, Prickly Hedgehog here, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well, hope this video finds you in good spirits. It's a new year, and as I announced last week with the very large announcement that DCS had, we now have a new email this week, and another big update of all the non-aircraft related news, although really it's not exactly non-aircraft, they're all interrelated. We're talking about an air combat sim, so but generally speaking this is not quite so specifically plane focused. Having said that, there are some interesting tidbits in here that are worth taking notice of, so stick around, this is going to be a good one. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning here, last week was a very big announcement, lots of new aircraft coming in. I won't go back over it all again, you can check the previous video, but it was exciting times. 2020 is looking good. So let's get into what they're talking about today. And we're going to start actually with an aircraft because, funnily enough, they forgot one with all the things that they were focused on. RASBAM, and remember this is for 2020 and beyond, so I don't have specific times, but RASBAM, of course, built us the Harrier and the MiG-19. Well, they are also working on the MiG-23, and among other projects, I might add. So the MiG-23 is coming, that was one that they overlooked. And this is going to be a nice addition to the game. Looking forward to that. It's kind of an interesting aircraft. I don't know a heck of a lot about it, and I'll have to do some research on it. But again, another great introduction to the game, another aircraft to play around with in the environment, so that's good. Now, I had speculated last week that the DCS supercarrier must be close. It is. It looks like it's going to be available for pre-order here pretty shortly, so let's look at what they were working on. They said late last year they released a video of the fun stuff. They've got a few things to work on. They're now nearing completion. Much of the remaining work involves adjusting the complex deck crew animations to support the launching of aircraft from all 4 catapults. They're looking at ship lights that include the floodlights and the improved Fresnel optical landing system, or the IFLOLs. It's a bit of a mouthful. And landing area lights, the damage modeling, network copy protection, and up to 14 spawn points in multiplayer for client aircraft. I believe that may increase, but that's what it is for now. Following the early access release, more features will be added that include a briefing room, more ships of the class, and I believe that's going to refer to the Ali Burke class that they are about to talk about here, and then the actually player-involved IFLOLs operation and more. So very exciting. In addition, they're also going to update the Kuznetsov class aircraft carrier. It doesn't have the deck animation, but you'll be able to launch the Su-33 Flanker D off the deck, which has the fantastic ski ramp launch. So that's cool. And landing operations, it looks like, yeah, a complete remodel here. And as I said, they talked about the Ali Burke class guided missile destroyers. It's built around the SPY-1D radar and the Aegis battle management system. The Ali Burke class provides an effective air defense umbrella around the CVBG, and it's also armed with Harpoon and Tomahawk cruise missiles. The Kuznetsov carries some pretty decent stuff as well, its own formidable arsenal. So it's going to be fun having all these new naval elements in the game, especially with the new map Mariana Islands, and lots of exciting, interesting stuff there. Alright, now speaking of maps, the channel map is getting a little bit of an update here too. So we have the first dedicated World War II map for DCS World, which was created by Eagle Dynamics, the channel map. This map will represent southeast England and the English Channel, and portions of the Low Countries and northeastern France. The map is built to support missions and campaigns between the late 1930s and 1945, with a new level of detail and realism not seen before in a DCS World map. We're talking here airfields and other things. And they are also looking at various places: Manston, Detling, Hawking, Schlumpf, Dunkirk, Saint-Omer, etc. So several different bits and pieces there. They are including detailed renditions of the cities, towns, roads, and rail networks, the forests, the rivers, the canals, communication lines, radar stations of this important region during the Second World War. So that's really going to be nice for the Spitfire pilots. and those aficionados of that particular warbird era, and looking forward to seeing the final iteration of that. Long overdue, of course. We've so I should add too, early February. Early February is going to be the release date with a 30% discount too, so that looks exciting. Third-party maps. Well, don't forget this too. The Falkland Islands map. Razbam's working on that. They're making pretty good progress. If you look up Razbam's website, their own website, they will give you an update there too. You can kind of see what's going on, what they've been working on. And I had a little look the other day. Actually, very much incredible detail. They're looking at the roads, they're looking at markers, just the individual houses. Well, not every single house obviously is going to be rendered, but they're not going to be block DCS houses. They haven't just pulled renderings from DCS. They've created their own marshes and rock formations, all that kind of stuff that's specific to the Falklands Island terrain and geography. Those features are going to be in the map, so that really is quite exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing the final iteration of this particular map. In addition to that third party, we also have, rather excitingly, the Syria map. So Ugra Media, who have provided us with some good stuff like the Normandy map, they're going to continue their work on this ambitious project. They say the map actually spans from Turkey through to North Israel into the south, with Syria and Lebanon in between. So after an initial map review, the Ugra team will be implementing the feedback to move forward on an early access release, not knowing when that will be. Pretty exciting. Now, more World War II Assets Pack. So work continues on the World War II Assets Pack with the addition of several important air, ground and naval units, which include the Churchill 7 tank, the Elephant self-propelled artillery, the Stug 3 tank destroyer, the M10 tank destroyer. There's a double A gun here, and flak, the 8.88 centimeter flak, 41 AAA. Schnellboot, the Type 7 U-boat. So lots of little bits and pieces. That's not the entire list, but just a reference point. They're talking torpedoes, paratroopers, and functional searchlights. Lots of interesting stuff there. So again, nice embellishment to the game, and another thing to look forward to. So here we go. Now, DCS Core World Program will continue to grow and improve in 2020 across several key areas. In fact, more than half of Eagle Dynamics staff right now is devoted to improving the core of DCS World, and not just for purchase products. So there's a lot of work being done. Vulkan API support. Here we are. A little bit of another announcement here. So in order to improve the game performance, particularly in VR, and take advantage of today's hardware, they've been working on the integration of the Vulkan API into DCS World over the past year, and this is an important undertaking, but we believe it will be well worth the end results. I don't know anything about this. I'll have to look at that, but sounds like this is going to help, I guess, in the VR, but I'm very tentatively, I haven't had a chance to look at that, so I'll stand by for more information. Here's another big thing. Lighting improvements. This is for DCS World 2.5.6. This month, they began testing 2.5.6, sorry, and what they're looking here is the improvements to the lighting system. This will be most evident apparently at night when viewing the cockpits. In addition to cockpit lighting, overall world lighting will appear more natural and balanced with improved tones. This is exciting. The following this, our goal will be to further enhance the world lighting by adding multiple world lighting sources. This will provide a much more natural and realistic appearance to the world. So again, improving that immersive element to the flight sim, because as I said last week, there are a lot of people that like to fly the warbirds. And like to fly the jets and NATO and Red 4 aircraft just on their own merits, not necessarily doing combat, because the environment that we have is pretty spectacular. Nice picture here, too, of the Middle East map here that looks pretty cool. So I'm very excited to see what the final iteration again of what this is going to look like too, similar to the others. Now, stemming on from that, clouds and weather. Another DCS World enhancement in 2020 will be the delivery of substantially improved weather and clouds. The first step is our new system in our new system will render many different types of cloud sizes and multiple layers, and these clouds will impact certain sensors and be synchronized in network play. A lot of emphasis there too on stuff like that, and that's not just going to be the standalone solo player stuff. They're setting a pretty high bar for themselves apparently, and it's taken a little bit longer than they expected. However, they are saying, trust us, it will be worth the wait in the end. In parallel to this, we're also working on significant improvements to the dynamic weather system of DCS World that will also take advantage of this new cloud system, as well as pressure fronts as well. So that I guess that's in response to Microsoft a little bit. I know they have, touted improvements for some years now, but this sounds like it's actually going to come to fruition. Again, don't have specifics on dates here, ballpark for 2020. Hopefully it is something that we see this year. I'm excited for its implementation. Voice chat. Oh dear, bear with me. In late 2019, we released the first test version of our free integrated voice chat system in DCS World. Since then, we have been analyzing your feedback to make further improvements. Thank you for all your great comments. In 2020, we aim to deliver peer-to-peer connectivity and user chat rooms generation. The next step thereafter will be to support radio modulation and frequencies, as well as varied mic and audio characteristics of helmets and radios from different areas. Wow, that's impressive. Our final goal will be to include communications jamming and secure voice capability. This will continue to be a free and fully integrated feature of DCS World. That's magnificent. I haven't tested that feature of the game yet, but as it stands right now, because I don't do a lot of multiplayer. In fact, I haven't really delved into multiplayer at all, but maybe there's a reason to now with this kind of stuff. Damage modeling. Moving on, 2.5.6. There will be an initial release of the improved damage system for World War II fighters in DCS, as we have discussed in prior newsletters. This system includes a complex and realistic accounting of damage to aircraft systems, round trajectory and penetration, deflection, localized damage. We have also added substantially enhanced visual damage effects that include missing structural components, fuel and hydraulic leaks. The new damage model will provide a much more engrossing and realistic experience. Once we and our clients are happy with the Warbird's damage model system, we will implement this new damage modeling to the modern aircraft, ground units and naval units. Huzzah! Oh, so there is a spin-off. I didn't realize that. Okay, cool. Here's another good thing, because if you have AI wingmen, which I often use in the solo campaigns and the single-player game, they notoriously muddly and clumsy and definitely can't flow at low level, but they made some initial improvements in 2019 for the dogfight, delivered more realistic human behavior. This also includes implementation of modern control theory, necessary condition analysis, and incremental non-linear dynamic inversion to all our AI aircraft, whatever the hell that means. Programming gobbledygook. The new approach will extend flight envelopes, which is good, and improve AI quality control, control quality and control response and mass and moment of inertia changes. In 2020, we will continue this effort, but we'll also devote resources to improve other AI areas, to include BVR, offensive and defensive behavior, formation keeping and correct use of external lights, air-to-air or air-to-ground attack maneuvers, very low-level flight and terrain following, which is one of my beefs. Wingman generally tries to park the aircraft into the side of a hill if you go low-level. And then, of course, defensive threat responses from SAM and AAA, which is great. Here's another thing. We're getting there. A lot of stuff, guys. Stay tuned. Don't lose me. Here we go. Air traffic control. Air traffic control. Another AI task that will kick off in 2020 is a new implementation of ATC, radio communications for airfields. This will be a more realistic and complete ATC system to account for ground, tower, departure, and approach controllers, as well as account for variables that include VRF, IFR, and overhead straight-in. We will be working with subject matter experts to ensure that this new ATC system is a valuable addition to DCS World immersion and enjoyment. Great stuff. Here's another one. We're looking at missile dynamics and stuff, but air-to-ground radar and forward-looking infrared. This primarily is for the F-16 and F-18. The inclusion of completed air-to-ground radar and forward-looking FLIR sensor systems. Last year, the JF-17 Thunder used our AG radar and application programming interface to great success. So we will continue to improve the AG radar API and use it for both the Hornet and the Viper. We will continue to enhance this area of expertise and work to improve radar shadowing, synthetic aperture radar support, and varied resolution based on the type and era of radar. So, yeah, gosh, the level of detail in this game is quite remarkable. Anyway, updated FLIR API will be used to improve the targeting pod's infrared, black hot, white hot cameras. This is a rather large undertaking because it not only involves programming tasks to account for thermal dynamics of world and unit objects, but also creating thermal maps for all objects in DCS World and how they behave under different conditions. So, yeah, I can see that being quite complex. So, that's going to be a standby to standby type thing. We'll wait and see what the final result of that is. Anyway, missile dynamics. Last year we used the AIM-7 as a testbed to implement several air-to-air missile performance and guidance improvements. Early this year we will be doing the same for the AIM-20. The AIM-120, performance in 2020 will be closer to claimed specifications given adjustments to G-induced drag in the transonic region, and we will improve the efficiency of the lofting profile. So we'll have improved. We improved. Excuse me. So that's good to see, because I have seen on forums and stuff like that complaints about this kind of thing with missiles and so on and so forth. But anyway, all right, we're almost at the end here, guys. So thanks for sticking with me here. New AI units. We're going to see the SA-5 surface-to-air missile and the Scud surface-to-air missile. We will still need to develop the short-range ballistic missile flight model for the Scud, but the S-3B Viking and apparently Cows are back on the menu. So there are other units we hope to revisit, like the B-52, the C-17, the Tu-95, and others. All these other objects in the game are also, subject to analysis and improvements as the whole module moves forward. So there's lots and lots of stuff that they're retroactively, going back over, which is cool. Lastly, the dynamic campaign. Here we are. The work on the dynamic campaign has been underway for over a year, and the progress has been steady on this very complex task. We understand that this is one of the most awaited features in DCS World, and we are giving it the attention it deserves. Hurrah! Lots and lots of people have been talking about this. It's one of the big missing things of this particular franchise over many other franchises over the years of a similar ilk, which had dynamic campaigns. DCS, of course, does not. Much of the work is focused on the dynamic campaign creation tool layers as part of the mission editor, developing machine learning mechanics and creating an AI neural network for the RTS element of the system. The machine learning and neural network tasks are particularly challenging, but we believe they should provide a unique dynamic campaign experience. And we expect to start testing this feature in the latter part of 2020. So we're going to have to wait for that a little bit more, unfortunately. Hopefully, if they're doing it in the latter part of 2020, I don't see it being released until maybe this time next year. That's my instinct here, unless, some other breakthrough occurs. Standby again to standby. Alright, wow, this is a long video. Lots and lots of information here. I really appreciate you tuning in again to the channel, guys. I am working on videos. I am trying to bring you more material, and I apologize this has just been kind of a weekly thing at this time, and maybe a little bit more tutorial type stuff or experiences that I'm having in the game as I learn it as a kind of a complete noob. And maybe that's what I need to do, is kind of the noob guides, noob guide to DCS. So yeah, I know I've been focusing a little bit on the F-14 because I've been having fun with it. We're sort of waiting for stuff with the F-16, although there have been some great improvements over the last few weeks, towards the end of last year too. The module's looking pretty good. Alright, hey, thanks for tuning in again. Like I said, I'm off to watch Dracula, which I really love right now. It's been one of my favorite new series on Netflix if you haven't seen it. I'm kind of in love with that series right now. It's kind of hilarious. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time. Prickly Hedgehog out.